morning,
and welcome to Global Spotlight. I'm Josephine.
and I'm Adeline. We will be bringing you to the top news this morning around the world, all in one spotlight.
The top local news of the day: 12 killed and 11 missing in the recent landslide in central Java.
This devastating disaster is located in central Java, Thursday, 13th November at 7:30 p.m. local time.
The landslide occurred because of the heavy rain which struck the village prior to the disaster. High-intensity rain has led the soil to become saturated, which made it prone to instability.
The steep and fragile terrain further increased the risk of ground movement.
Local residents reported they had heard loud rumbling noise seconds before the landslide transpired. Shortly afterward, the ground shook and the area went dark as it was engulfed by the landslide.
The major landslide struck the residential area, burying houses and resulting in fatalities as well as missing people. Across several locations, houses were entombed beneath 3 to 8 meters of landslide materials.
In addition, the landslide has triggered land subsidence and the formation of cracks throughout the affected region.
This disaster impacted around 6.5 hectares, claiming at least 12 lives and nearly a dozen individuals unaccounted for. The severity of the destruction has made evacuation and disaster response more challenging, especially with unstable ground and risk of secondary slides.
Search efforts for the missing were conducted by the SAR teams, operating in divided sectors, supported by excavators to clear the thick and heavy landslide debris. Despite the harsh condition, search and rescue efforts went on as teams stayed vigilant for possible further slides.
The SAR operation is a joint effort between BPBD Cilacap, Basarnas, the Indonesian military, the police, volunteers, and residents from the surrounding communities.
According to reports, this disastrous event has severely damaged 12 houses, while another 16 are located at areas with high risk of subsequent slide. As a result, authorities have decided to relocate affected residents to a safer location, with the local governments preparing designated housing areas to prevent further casualties.
Furthermore, authorities have provided emergency financial assistance to the victims, including support for basic needs, temporary shelter, and compensations for families who lost their homes.
We sincerely express our deepest hope for their continued safety and well-being amid this difficult tragedy. We strongly wish that they receive the support needed to overcome the situation.
Has officially returned to Ador, marking a major turning point after months of legal conflict between the group and their former label.
That's right, this decision falls the wake of a lengthy dispute concerning their contract with Ador. This verdict came down in November 2025 from the Seoul Central District Court. Meanwhile, the announcement was issued on 12 November by members Hyein and Herin, followed by Minzy, Danielle, and Hani on the next day.
It's interesting to note that previously, in October, the court ruled that NewJeans' exclusive agreement with Ador remains in effect until 2029. The appeal deadline was set for November 13, but NewJeans, which debuted back in 2022, declined to file an appeal.
Exactly. The court upheld the validity of their exclusive contract, enforceable until 2029, effectively requiring the group to stay within the label.
Moreover, Herin and Hani have discussed their decision thoroughly with their families before choosing to return, stating the group of 5 would respect the court's ruling by continuing under Ador's exclusive agreement with the label, pledging full support to ensure that activities proceed smoothly.
In addition, former Ador CEO Min Hee-jin, who was instrumental in establishing the group, fully supported the members' decision to return.
Their significant choice not only solved this prolonged issue, but also garnered lots of positive reaction from fans around the world, which are eager for NewJeans' next comeback under Ador.
Earlier coverage states that the conflict began when Min Hee-jin, who was also a close mentor to the group, was dismissed from her position, sparking distrust within the group.
New Jeans had claimed that the agency had treated them unfairly and engaged in discriminatory and harassing behavior, making them uncomfortable, which prompted them to consider leaving.
They even went as far as attempting to rename themselves as NJZ to pursue activities outside of the label. But this was against the contractual agreement. Eventually, the court sided with Adore, confirming the contract's legitimacy, obligating the group to resume activities under the label.
This marks the beginning of a new phase for New Jeans, one with many will be paying close attention to.
That concludes today's coverage.
Stay tuned for more information as the situation develops.
I'm Josephine.
And I'm Adeline, and you're watching Global Spotlight. Have a nice day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to NBE News. Back with your host, Evan.
And me, Briella, here on this beautiful morning. We have some surprising news, Evan.
Yes, Brie. Now, some of you might know him as last year's bronze medalist at the 2024 Paralympic Games. Christopher Skelly has officially announced his retirement from the Paralympics.
Quite surprising knowing what he has accomplished. Chris has stated this had been the hardest decision for him to make, but it's the right decision for him as a whole. And he is ready to move on to the next chapter of his life.
While Chris's journey is coming to a close, let us look back at his timeline and how he has advanced throughout the years. Now, Chris took up judo as a sport at the age of 5. A successful judoka, he was already a part of England's squad when his eyesight began to falter. Chris started judo as his parents wanted him to do more extracurricular activities, and as a youth, he was a keen athlete and enjoyed doing many sports, playing rugby for the Hull Ionians, where he was recommended judo by his rugby coach.
At the age of 17, Chris's eyesight began to deteriorate, which eventually caused him to stop his apprenticeship to become a mechanic at the age of 18. At 19, it was soon figured out that Chris had ocular albinism, a genetic disorder that primarily affects the eyes, reducing their pigmentation and causing vision problems.
As well as his job, Chris also had to stop playing rugby, meaning judo was the only constant in his life during this period. At the age of 19, Chris moved to Walsall to train full-time at the British Judo National Training Centre, where in December 2015, Skelly represented Britain at the European Championships in Portugal. There he missed out on the finals after being beaten by a last-second Yuko scoring throw by his Russian opponent Abdullah Kuramegedov, the current world medalist. He then secured bronze after being beaten by Ibrahim Balıkbaşı of Turkey. He then won a silver medal at the IPSA Grand Prix in Tashkent 2019, and in 2014, Chris won the Scottish Open Judo Championships. In December 2017, Skelly won the IPSA Grand Prix in Tashkent 2019.
He then claimed gold at the 2020 Paralympic Games and in Tokyo. And in 2021, he was awarded the title of MBE for services to judo. He then took bronze at the IPSA Grand Prix in Sultan 2022. And finally, last year at the Paralympics 2024, he won bronze for the category of 90 plus kilograms JHEC Cup in Paris.
Well, let us all wish Chris a happy retirement and thank him for the journey he has given us. And moving on to the mainland, breaking news, we have Mount Luatobi, Laki-Laki in East Nusa Tenggara erupted again in the early hours of this morning, Friday 17 October 2025.
Now, according to MAGMA Indonesia, the volcano has erupted twice. Mount Lewatobi Post Officer Emmanuel Rofinus Bere revealed that the first eruption occurred at 1:41 a.m. Central Indonesian Time. It was stated that the ash column was approximately 4,000 meters above the summit, or 5,584 meters above sea level.
Emmanuel also stated that the ash column was observed to be gray in color with thick intensity towards the north, northwest, and southwest.
5 minutes later, the volcano in East Lords erupted again at 1:46 a.m. Central Indonesian Time. It was stated that the ash column was observed to be 1,500 meters above summit, or 3,084 meters above sea level. This eruption was recorded on a seismograph with an amplitude of 47.3 millimeters and a duration of 175 seconds.
Currently, Mount Luatobi remains at level 4 alert. Residents near the mountain are advised to refrain from activities within a 6-kilometer radius and a 7-kilometer radius north, northwest, and southwest of the eruption center.
The public is urged to remain calm and follow local government directives and not to easily believe any false information coming from unknown sources, Emmanuel said. Furthermore, for the Central of Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation, PPMBG, has warned for rain-triggered lava flooding near the rivers of Mount Lewatobi summit if heavy rainfall actually occurs. Areas regarding vigilance for this include Dulipali, Padang Pasir, Nubro,
Norabelen, Klatanto, Hokeng, Jayabaru, and Nowakote. Residents affected by volcanic ash fall are advised to wear masks or cover their noses to prevent respiratory problems.
Local governments are also advised to continue coordinating with the post observation in Pululera village, Wulagitang district, and not to easily believe any information, and continue coordinating with the Central of Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation (PPMBG) in Bandung.
And that's all, folks, for today's morning news. We'll be back after this short ad break.
Keep calm, carry on.
Stay safe and stay motivated. This is NVE News signing out.
Check. Hello.
Hello.
News with no bias.
News with no exception.
Good morning, Indonesia! It's Monday, December 1st, 2025.
Back with Specta Breaking News.
I'm Rara,
And I'm Elle.
bringing you the latest news around the globe.
Now, the first news comes from Indonesia. The series of demonstrations that's unfolded from August 25th to early September 2025.
These demonstrations began as a public protest against a new allowance proposed for members of the Indonesian House of Representatives, known as DPR, specifically a housing allowance that sparked widespread criticism.
The situation quickly escalated beyond peaceful protest. What started as public dissent soon grew into massive riots across several regions.
Public trust had already been fragile, not only toward the government, but also toward law enforcement. The tipping point came on the night of August 28th, when a Brimo armored vehicle struck an online motorcycle taxi driver.
It didn't stop there. The witnesses reported that the driver was not only hit, but run over intentionally. He later passed away in the hospital. The incident ignited outrage, fueling even larger riots toward Jakarta and several major cities as people demanded justice.
As the riots grew, they became nearly impossible to control. Public facilities were damaged, and several homes, including those of government officials and ordinary citizens, were looted.
The impacts run deep. Public trust in the government, the police, and even fellow citizens has been severely shaken.
In response, the people presented a set of demands, known as 17 plus 8 demands from the people. It includes 17 short-term points and 8 long-term reforms submitted on September 1st to President Prabowo Subianto's administration.
Thankfully, the government has responded to these demands. Now, all eyes are on whether these commitments will be fulfilled with transparency, wisdom, and integrity.
For now, the public watches and hopes for real change. That's it for our local updates. Now we're going up, 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 just like the lyrics from Golden by Huntrix, straight to the international entertainment world.
Speaking of Huntrix, did you know that they are a newly famous fictional K-pop girl group from the Netflix animated movie K-pop Demon Hunters? It was released on June 20, 2025, and ever since then, the group has been taking over global charts.
That's right. Huntrix has 3 members, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. By day, they're K-pop idols, and by night, they're demon hunters. The film features several songs, but the most popular one is definitely Golden.
And Golden has been soaring. It reached number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100, beating Alex Warren's 2025 hit, Ordinary. Billboard released this on August 11, 2025.
Even more exciting, Golden has been nominated for Song of the Year at the 2026 Grammy Awards.
But not everyone agrees with the nominations, since Huntrix is a fictional group.
True, but fans argue that the talent behind the characters is very real. With powerful vocals from real singers and electrifying production, Golden deserves the praise just like any other hit song.
Speaking of those real singers, people have been curious. The voices behind the characters are Kim Eunjae or EJ for Rumi, Ari Nuna for Mira, and Ray Ami for Zoe.
Fun fact, even though EJ's voice is incredible, she once failed to debut in a real K-pop group. But now look, she, Nuna, and Ray Ami performed Golden live for the first time on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon on October 7, 2025.
And let's forget about the creative team. Michelle L.M. Wong is the main producer, and Ian Asindrath is the music executive producer that oversaw all the music elements of the film.
What an amazing team. We can't wait to see what's next for Huntrix.
You have just heard the latest news around the globe. This has been Elle
And Rara, bringing you the latest news around the globe. Thank you for being with us.
Now we must say that
We are done, done, done. See you later and have a wonderful day.
Good morning, viewers, and you're watching VNTV, Your World on News. My name is Vanessa Audrey,
And I'm Israela Juliana.
and thank you for joining us today. In this edition, we will take you a deep look into one of Indonesia's recurring natural disaster, and later on, we'll bring you overseas into a spectacular moment in the world of football. Quite an eventful lineup today, isn't it, Jory?
Absolutely.
Then let's begin with our top local story. Flooding and landslides have once again struck the coastal city of Silboga, occurring on Monday and Tuesday last week. Heavy rain bringing muds, falling trees, construction debris, and many households have fallen into different residential areas, causing severe damages and blocking roads.
According to local authorities, the intensity of flash flood caught many residents off guard, and several districts remain closed. And while the emergency teams continue to closing all the routes that blocked, and this situation brings back a bit of deja vu, doesn't it?
Well, indeed. Almost 6 decades ago, Silbogo experienced one of the worst flooding in its history. On July 22, 1956, a night storm suddenly came with thunder noises, causing major water surge.
And then, eyewitness accounts from newspapers such as Indonesia Current, Fu, Nederland, and Merdeka stated that the river overflowed in just 2 minutes, engulfing nearly 2/3 of the city. Residents at the time had no chance to escape. 2 minutes, that's unbelievable fast.
At least 38 deaths, including a new couple found buried in the mud. Thousands of people have lost their home, fallen bridges, farmers' land been destroyed, and the city was left devastated.
As the magnitude of destruction became clear, the government declared that Sibolga as a military emergency zone to accelerate rescue and then for the for rehabilitation. And from across Indonesia, rescuing and recover the city that has the moment of dogs.
Experts warn us that the flood shows will continue vulnerable. Climate change makes stronger mitigation and warning urgent.
And then, for now, evacuation continues. And then, local officials, they are urge the residents to stay alert, as the heavy rainfalls is still expected to be happen throughout the week. And then this has been our VNTV local news for the local desk. And then we hope all the people of Sumatra stay strong and safe. And then Vanessa, we're going to have a next topic, are we?
Yes, now let's move on to our international news.
Turning to international headlines, football superstar Cristiano Ronaldo has once again stunned the world by an extraordinary moment of brilliance. During Al Nassr's 4-1 victory over Al Khalij in Saudi Pro League, the 40-year-old man again show us a very extraordinary move, like a bicycle kick.
Ronaldo rose to meet at Bullshaw's crowd and struck with such precision that Morris could only deflect in it. The stadium crowd went absolutely crazy as he celebrated with his iconic seal. The crowd surely loves it, don't they?
Absolutely. And then commentators they mention about the goal to Ronaldo's legendary overhead goal against Juventus in the 2018 in Champions League. Also, the fan they described that the goal is like a timeless reminder of Ronaldo's legendary moment.
It was Ronaldo's 10th goal, and Al Nassr earned their 9th straight win, staying perfect in their league.
Al Nassr's attack was unstoppable with Felix. With Felix and then Wesley, and then they have also Ronaldo in there, and then they, despite all, Khalid is kind of bravely closing of their halftime, but Al Nassr keeps going.
Even though that it seems that Ronaldo's final World Cup will be next year, this performance that proves even at his age 40 years old, he's still an impactful player, and age is really just a number for him, isn't it, Jory?
Of course. And then we're going to end our international segment.
You're watching VNTV.
Your world, our news. Don't forget to check our YouTube channel, VNTV Broadcast. Feel free to visit our YouTube channel. Stay aware and stay safe.
Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Here we are today on Monday, the 1st of December. Good morning. I'm your host, Clemendio.
And I'm your host, Marvel.
You're watching
P7 News, bringing you live news about local news and international sports.
Without further ado, let's get into the local politics news. So, recently on Monday, 10th of November 2025, President Prabowo awarded ex-dictator Suharto the title National Hero. The announcement, made as part of the country's Heroes Day commemoration, may reignite long-standing debates over Suharto's legacy. Well credited with stabilizing Indonesia's economy and maintaining political order after years of turmoil, his regime was also associated with widespread human rights abuses, corruption, and suppression of dissent. His selection as a national hero had been proposed several times before, but repeatedly drew opposition from human rights activists and victims groups who argue his inclusion overlooks serious violations committed under his rule. Alongside Suharto, Prabowo also bestowed the national hero title onto 9 other people, one of them being former President Abdurrahman Wahid, widely known as Gus Dur, who is remembered as a champion of religious tolerance and pluralism. The awards were formalized under Presidential Decree number 116, 2025 on the granting of national hero titles. Each recipient's portrait was displayed at the State Palace as Prabowo handed framed citations to their heirs. That's all I have for today. I'll pass it over to Marva now.
Thank you. I have some news about a tiny Swedish team that's competing in European soccer against IFK Göteborg in 2018. It appears that the footballers from Sweden have just achieved an achievement that has won the title against European soccer against IFK Göteborg. A club from a small fishing village named Mjölby winning the Swedish league in 2025, a historic achievement for the club. It all happened because of an amazing strategy under chairman Magnus Emius, who joined in 2015. Mjölby dominated the season, finishing with a commanding 11-point lead over their nearest competitor with 3 games left to play. They achieved a historic points total and won the title in a 2-0 point away victory over IFK Göteborg. The team's success was a culmination of a rapid ascent, as they had been just 1 game away from relegation to Sweden's 4th tier 9 years prior. The players have a very high level of team spirit, with some even living in the same flats, demonstrating that the collective can achieve incredible things. Here's something amazing. The club itself only lost 1 game away this season during their title-winning season. That wraps up for today. Thanks for listening to our news.
Good morning, people. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Hannah.
Welcome to the Teen Times News Update. For our first news today, we begin locally with an urgent update on one of Indonesia's most frequent natural disasters. Hannah, what is the situation?
Thank you, Victoria. Indonesia is once again facing severe flooding in several regions after days of continuous heavy rainfall. Homes, roads, and public facilities have been submerged, forcing many residents to evacuate to higher grounds or emergency shelters. Local authorities reported that water levels rose quickly due to overflowing rivers and overwhelmed drainage systems. This is caused by two main factors. But why does Indonesia experience flooding so often? It's caused by two main factors again. First is land subsidence. The ground is sinking over time due to climate change and rain. Second is rising sea levels and heavier rainfall. This combination causes water to accumulate faster than the land can absorb it, making even moderate rain to trigger severe flooding. In some areas, especially Jakarta, the land has sunk more than 4 meters in the past few decades. This makes flood prevention increasingly difficult. The government continues to work on long-term solutions such as improving drainage systems, river normalization, and reducing groundwater extraction. Meanwhile, residents are advised to stay alert and follow official safety guidelines during the rainy season. That concludes our information about Indonesia's local flooding. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. And now, moving on to our international entertainment headline. A magical story from Broadway to the big screen is reaching its emotional finale. The second and final installment of the global hit movie musical Wicked for Good is now capturing worldwide attention. The Wicked phenomenon began over 22 years ago as a Broadway musical about the unlikely friendship between two witches of Oz, Glinda and Elphaba. Last year's Wicked Part 1 became a massive success, gaining a lot of compliment and earning over than $750 million at the global box office. And now, Wicked for Good continues that journey with a higher emotional stakes, more powerful musical numbers, and deeper drama. One performance that stands out is Ariana Grande as Glinda. Critics say she truly shines with a light and graceful, and alongside her, Cynthia Erivo delivers a powerful portrayal of Elphaba. In the story, she is now living in hiding after discovering that the wizard is a fraud. She is haunted by the Aussie soldiers led by Prince Fiero, who is now engaged to Glinda, despite still having feelings for Elphaba. With heart-touching themes, unforgettable music, and more powerful performance, Wicked for Good promises to bring this legendary story to a beautiful conclusion. With excitement growing, many agree that this final chapter is shaping up to be an unmissable moment for audiences everywhere. And as the story reaches its final moment, Glinda and Elphaba find their fates and pushing them to make choices that will shape the future of us forever. And that wraps up today's International Entertainment Update.
Thank you for watching the Teen Times News Update.
Stay informed and stay safe. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Good morning, Penaburians. Here from PKJ Studio headquarters in Kota Jababeka. With us, Marshana Tania,
Zoe Vanya bringing you today's top news. Lando Norris sweeps Sao Paulo as F1 team shift into next season prep.
and 74 disasters struck West Java in November. Nearly 10,000 people affected. We start at
Yes, absolutely. Norris is sitting on 390 points now, with both Piastri and Verstappen not too far behind on 366.
Can we just take a moment to talk about Lando Norris? Sometimes, the people who inspire us the most are the ones who never stop trying, even when nobody's watching. Let's talk about the driver lineups. McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Audi, and Haas are sticking with their trusted pairings, but others like Red Bull Racing and Alpine are taking a different road.
We also have upcoming new teams, which are Cadillac and RB. But while the motorsport world is gearing up for the future, things here in Indonesia have been pretty tough, especially in West Java.
Some West Java regions, including Bogor, Cirebon, Bandung, Sukabumi, and Subang, was hit by a series of natural disasters that had a significant impact on thousands of residents and infrastructure in various areas between the 1st to 12 November 2025.
According to the West Java Disaster Management Agency, they have recorded 74 separate disaster events. These include extreme weather, landslides, and flooding across multiple regencies and cities. The impact of these disasters has been significant. In total, 38 buildings were severely damaged, 78 experienced moderate damage, and 349 others sustained light damage. Additionally, more than 2,459 buildings were submerged by flooding. Overall, around 9,810 residents were directly affected, showing just how widespread the disasters in West Java has been.
West Java Chief Executive of BPBD, Teten Alumulku Engkun, revealed that the human factors are still the main cause of various natural disasters, such as exploitation of natural resources, improper land use, poor planning, and infrastructure. The report reveals that 35 incidents were caused by extreme weather such as strong winds, heavy rains, and lightning. 26 cases were landslides, while 13 others were flood. He also emphasized the importance of public preparedness and awareness in facing potential disasters, because according to him, disasters are not something that can be completely avoided.
To address rising risks, the West Java provincial government declared a disaster alert across all 27 regencies and cities. This alert is in effect from September 15, 2025 to April 30, 2026. The alert helps the province access extra emergency funds and coordinate more quickly with national agencies like BNPB and BMKG for weather monitoring and evacuation.
While we can't stop the rain, we can prevent our action from making things worse. Proper waste management, smart land use, and community readiness are a key to minimizing the damage. And remember, if you witness or experience any signs of natural disasters, call 112 immediately for emergency assistance.
To everyone affected by the recent disasters in West Java, our thoughts are with you. We know many families are facing tough situations, from evacuations to damage at home. Please remember you're not alone. Public societies, volunteers, and local communities are working hard to support you. We'll continue to monitor the situation in West Java and bring you updates as the new data comes in. That's all for today's news.
Stay safe, stay informed. I'm Marcia Natania.
And I'm Zoe Fanya. See you next time, Penaburians!
No.
This is Skriga News.
Good morning and welcome to Skriga News. I'm Fafian.
And I'm Josephine.
So, what news do you have for us today, Josephine?
Today's top story: YouTuber and influencer Jack Doherty has been arrested.
The incident happened early Saturday morning, where police say Doherty was blocking traffic on Washington Avenue whilst filming a video.
Officers told him several times to move out of the street, but Doherty allegedly refused, saying he would do it once he finished a bet. This led officers to take him into custody.
When officers searched him, they found half of an orange pill, believed to be Schedule 2 amphetamine, alongside free hand-rolled cannabis cigarettes.
He is now facing 3 charges: possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana under 20 grams, and resisting arrest without violence.
Jack Doherty is well known for his stunt and prank videos, which have gained him millions of followers across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
But he's no stranger to controversy. Last year, he crashed a $200,000 McLaren during a live stream after allegedly glancing at his phone in the brain.
Doherty was booked into the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center and later released on a $3,500 bond.
Shortly after, he posted a video on Instagram saying, "I got arrested 24 hours ago and I'm finally free."
He is expected to appear in court soon. Legal experts say the amphetamine charge could carry serious consequences depending on the outcome.
Meanwhile, police emphasized that no influencer or celebrity are exempted from public safety laws, especially when filming stunts in public spaces.
That's the latest on the Jack Doherty arrest. We'll keep you updated as the story develops.
By the way, Fafian, do you feel that lately it's been raining a lot?
It does seem to be raining a lot in the last few days. That reminds me of our second news.
You're right. Up next, we have major flooding hits Dompu.
Floodwaters reaching up to 1.5 meters, causing hundreds of homes to be submerged.
Water rapidly inundated residential areas, causing panic among residents, many of whom were forced to evacuate.
Homes were damaged, access cut off.
According to initial reports, hundreds of homes submerged with water level reaching 1.5 meters. Affected residents now urgently need supplies such as ready-to-eat meals, clean waters, and blankets.
Emergency teams deployed from the Regional Disaster Agency, the military, and the police to assist with evacuations and distribute aid. Officials are also assessing the extent of the damage and number of people impacted.
Heavy rainfall may continue over Dompu in the coming days, says meteorological authorities. Local government officials are urging residents to remain alert for potential additional flooding.
Meanwhile, authorities are working to improve drainage systems and clear blocked roads to ensure aid can be delivered more efficiently.
We will continue monitoring the situation in Dompu and bring you updates as more information becomes available.
Thank you for watching. I'm Fafian with my partner Josephine, reminding you to stay empowered and stay informed. Have a meaningful day.
This has been Skriga News.
And welcome back to PTM One News, your most trusted news source in the nation. I'm Jeremy Hutagalung.
And I'm Samantha Lumintang. Today we're bringing you the latest news from Papua, where a devastating flash flood has struck the area, causing significant damage and forcing hundreds of residents to evacuate the area.
Emergency teams are currently on location as the weather continues to challenge the rescue efforts. According to National Disaster Management Agency or BNPB, the flood happened around November 1st, 2025, around 5 p.m. local time.
The floodwaters reached up to 2.5 meters in several villages, including Sentani, Doya Baru, and Hinekombe, causing and catching residents off guard. Local authorities stated that more than 400 homes were affected, with dozens severely damaged.
Over 700 residents have evacuated the area from the regional governments due to blocked roads, debris, and many unverified deaths.
With 15 people confirmed dead and dozens missing, rescue teams from Basarnas, the Indonesian Red Cross, the national military, and the national police and local volunteers have worked tirelessly through the night. Yet heavy rainfall and limited lighting in remote areas has caused delayed in rescue and research.
One local quoted that they had no time to rescue their family and to rescue their needed belongings.
One local resident stated, "The water came extremely fast. We only heard a loud roar from the river, and within minutes, our homes were flooded."
The Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, or BMKG, has issued a warning up to 48 until 72 hours for the local residents to evacuate due to unlikely weather conditions.
The provincial government has sent additional support, including inflatable boats, medical teams, clean water supplies, blankets, and emergency food packages. Community kitchens have also been established to support displaced families.
For the safety of students and many local areas, school closed for temporary and emergency trauma counseling have been stated by the national government. The national government stated that not to spread any unverified documentation from the BMKG and NPBN.
PTM 1 will continue to monitor the situation as with new information becomes available.
On behalf of our team, we hope that the National Regency of Papua remains safe.
Moving on, we turn to football's biggest name, Cristiano Ronaldo, who has stated that the 2026 FIFA World Cup will be his final major tournament of his legendary career.
This announcement was stated in a Lisbon press conference.
Let's take a closer look at what he said and what this means to Portugal, fans, and the global stage.
Right now, Cristiano Ronaldo, at the age of 40-year-old at the 2026 World Cup, stated that it's the highest level which is going to come to an end.
Speaking to reporters, Ronaldo said, "I've given everything to this sport. The next World Cup will be my last dance on the global stage."
The 2026 World Cup will be held in many countries, including the United States, Mexico, and Canada, including up to 48 national teams from many countries. This will be a farewell to Ronaldo.
Ronaldo made his international debut back in 2003 and has since become the leading goal scorer in men's international football with more than 120 goals for Portugal.
He has won more than 5 World Cup trophies, and since from 2006, breaking many records and making Portugal one of the most beloved sports countries in the world since the 2016 Euro World Cup.
Beyond numbers, Ronaldo's career has been defined by his discipline and persistent drive. Even with critics questioning his age, Ronaldo continues to perform with elite levels.
This will mark a very important stage of era. Fans from social media share many nostalgic footage of Ronaldo playing and makes this very nice farewell.
And for Portugal, the focus now shifts on building the next generation, even as they rally behind the captain for one last campaign.
Ronaldo has inspired many young football athletes, which will carry the flame forward. Quote that a football given him a life of beyond imagination.
From his early days at Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United to Real Madrid, Juventus, and now Al Nassr, Ronaldo has captivated billions.
So that's the end for our news today. Stay connected from many of our social media platforms.
And we will give you reliable and trustworthy information.
On behalf of our entire team, we're going to say thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Newsline. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Carlene.
And it's great to have you guys with us today.
We've got a lot to get to, from breaking news overseas to the stories across the country. What's trending, what's changing, and what's next. So stick around, because there's plenty to catch up on.
You're watching the Newsline, where news meets perspective. Let's get started.
Well, as we've known, Michelle, it's been quite a thrilling week for sports fans around the world as the England's Rugby World Cup brought some of the most unforgettable matches in tournament's history.
Yes, After weeks of intense competition across England, the tournament has finally come to an unforgettable close with England's Red Roses crowned as world champions. In front of a record-breaking crowd of 81,885, England defeated Canada with a commanding score of 33-13. It was a performance built on power, precision, and teamwork, which gave England their third Women's Rugby World Cup title.
From the very first whistle, England took control of the game, dominating possession, defending fiercely, and taking every scoring opportunity that came their way. Canada's team fought bravely, showing incredible spirit, but the Red Roses were simply unstoppable on home soil.
When the final whistle blew, the crowd erupted. Players dropped to their knees in tears, a mix of pride, joy, and relief. Moments later, England's captain lifted up the trophy high under the London lights as fireworks lit up the sky. It wasn't just a moment of win, it was a moment of history.
Throughout the game, fans witnessed some of the best rugby the world has had to offer. New Zealand's Black Ferns brought their trademark pace and passion to the game. For France, it was skill and strategy that made them go through the game. And lastly, Canada's journey to the final proved that hard work and perseverance can truly take a team all the way.
There were unforgettable matches, shocking upsets, and emotional victories, each one proving just how far women's sports have truly come.
Off the field, this tournament broke record after record. More than 4,400,000 fans attended matches across England, and online, the World Cup reached over 1 billion social media impressions, introducing millions of new fans to women's rugby. After watching, I might even become a fan myself. What do you think, Michelle?
Me too, definitely. World Rugby called this a stratospheric success, saying that this event didn't just raise the bar, it redefined what women's sports can truly achieve. The energy from every team, from Ireland to France, from Brazil to South Africa, was electric. Families, friends, and longtime fans all came together to celebrate a sport that continues to inspire the next generation.
Across England, more young girls are now picking up a rugby ball, dreaming of one day playing for their country. And that might be the greatest legacy of this World Cup. Not just the trophies or the titles given to the players, but the inspiration it leaves behind for the younger generations of England.
From the roaring cheers at Twickenham that echoed across the globe, the 2025 Women's Rugby World Cup reminded us of resilience and the power of true determination. But back home, that same spirit is being tested in a very different way. As we now turn to local news, communities in Pekalongan, Central Java are facing mounting challenges after severe floods struck the region earlier this year.
Yes, as Michelle said, on the 20th of January 2025, heavy rains triggered floods and landslides in Pekalongan Regency, Central Java. One landslide had hit 2 occupied buildings, while several people fishing nearby were swept away by flash floods. A day earlier, another landslide had hit the area and closed a main road. The worst damage occurred in Kasimpar Village, Patungkriana district, where a landslide around 5:30 p.m. destroyed a cafe, 2 houses, and several cars.
Evacuation, search, and rescue efforts were hindered by the damaged access roads to the village, along with continuing heavy rain. 600 personnel, accompanied by search and rescue dogs, were deployed, and by the 22nd of January, 20 of the fatalities had been found, with a further 8 missing. Another 13 victims were also injured, and 2 more bodies were found on the 24th of January, raising the death toll to 25. This is such a tragic event.
It truly is. The tragedy in Pekalongan serves as a stark reminder of how natural disasters continue to test the resilience and strength of our local communities. As recovery efforts continue, more residents have been voicing their growing concern over the lack of government funding and preparedness for disasters, especially in remote villages like theirs.
From damaged roads to limited emergency response, locals are calling in for stronger infrastructure, better early warning signs, and more consistent support to prevent future loss. Much like the spirit seen on world stage, the determination to rebuild reflects a deeper message for accountability, action, and perseverance.
From the global celebration of women's rights on the rugby field to the perseverance of our local communities facing hardship here at home, today's stories remind us of one thing: the power of perseverance and hard work.
Every act of courage moves us forward. Thank you for joining us and staying informed with the stories that shape our world.
From all of us here in the newsroom, stay safe, stay hopeful, and have a good night. We'll keep you informed with stories and updates that matter. I'm Carlene.
And I'm Michelle, signing out.
Good day and welcome to SND News.
Thank you for joining us. Today we will be presenting two major developments from different sectors, each reflecting significant events with wide public attention.
Our first report highlights a major moment in the global entertainment industry, while our second focuses on a serious natural disaster affecting communities in Indonesia. Cordis has been gaining attention even before debut, known for their free-spirited sound and refreshing visuals in tracks like Go and What You Want. They also stand out for joining international songwriting camps, an uncommon move for rookie idols. On September 8th, the group held their very first standalone concert in Hwaejong Gymnasium of Korea University in Seoul, South Korea, a release event for their debut album. The venue, with nearly 8,000 seats, carries special meaning, as BTS also performed on the same stage early in their career. The venue, every seat was filled, while fans from 190 countries watched online through Weverse, YouTube, and TikTok. The night began with a dramatic twist. Instead of entering from the main hall, Cordis surprised fans by emerging through the ground floor aisle before performing their new track, Fashion, for the first time. The group also shared behind-the-scenes stories about producing the album, explaining their choice to perform without an MC to keep the atmosphere casual. The show then shifted into a segment called The Hideout, a stage designed like their studio. Members interacted closely with fans, even hosting a Best Cordis lookalike event while roaming the audience for high fives and quick greetings. One of the biggest highlights of the night was an upgraded version of their viral treadmill performance. Previously performed with 11 treadmills, this new stage featured 31, all while maintaining flawless choreography. New album tracks Joyride and Lullaby were also performed live for the first time, with the Lullaby music video premiering during the event. Fans later demanded an encore of Fashion, and the group returned with even more energy, eventually giving a double encore. Emotions ran high toward the end. Eldest member James tearfully thanked fans, while leader Martin expressed the group's confidence, saying it's going to be a long journey, but we hope you'll stay with us. The debut album has already seen major success. Over 247,000 copies sold on the first day, and more than 310,000 within 3 days. Internationally, the album charted on US Apple Music and iTunes, reached number 2 on Japan's Oricon Daily ranking, and entered multiple charts in China. That concludes our coverage on Cordis and their remarkable debut achievements.
Now, we shift to a far more serious situation here at home. Indonesia is currently facing severe weather conditions, and one region in particular has been placed under heightened alert. We begin the report with a warning from Indonesia's Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency, BMKG, regarding potential landslides in Cilacap, Central Java, particularly in Majenang district. BMKG issued this alert following intense rainfall between November 10 and 20, 2025, which saturated the soil and hilly regions. On November 13, 2025, heavy rain triggered a major landslide that struck several homes in Majenang. Authorities have confirmed 3 fatalities, while 8 residents were successfully evacuated and 2 people remain missing as of the latest update. Meteorologists report that rainfall intensity reached over 98 millimeters per day in some parts of Majenang, exceeding normal levels for the region. Combined with previous rains, this has made slopes extremely unstable, especially in areas affected by land clearing. To understand the conditions rescue teams are facing on site, here is the latest report from the area. As rescue teams continue searching for the affected area, they are working through layers of mud and debris to locate the remaining missing residents. Evacuation workers are also clearing access routes and checking damaged homes to ensure no one is left behind. Search efforts have been slowed by unstable ground and ongoing rainfall, but local responders say operations will continue until every resident is accounted for. BMKG warns that additional heavy rain is still possible between November 19 and 22, which may increase the risk of further landslides in the surrounding region. Local authorities urge communities near slopes to remain alert and stay alert to follow official instructions. While the rainy season is a regular occurrence, this period in Cilacap has seen unusually high rainfall and severe soil saturation. Experts emphasize the importance of early warning awareness and immediate response to minimize casualties.
And that brings us to the ends of today's broadcast, covering developments from the entertainment world and the latest updates on national conditions.
As the rainy season continues, we remind viewers to stay alert, follow official guidance, and prioritize safety at all times.
Thank you for watching SND News. Stay safe and stay informed.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome back to P5 News. I'm your host, Kelsey, and today I'll be reporting on Indonesia's latest political news. Today, the government officially announced the detailed targets for Nusantara becoming the new capital city under the presidential regulation of number 79 of 2025. This regulation explains how Nusantara will be prepared and ready to become Indonesia's political capital by the year 2028. According to the regulation, the government core area and its surrounding area will cover at least 800 to 850 hectares. 20% of the land is used for government buildings, while the rest is used for attainable and sustainable housing for civil servants and also early residents. Infrastructure goals are also mentioned. By 2028, at least half of the basic utilities must already be functioning, such as clean water, electricity, waste management, and also other essential services. Transportation is also another focus, so they're not just focusing on infrastructure, with Nusantara aiming to reach a connectivity index of 0.74. And if they do manage to reach this connectivity index, they can improve their mobility and also on their public transport. To support modern governance, Nusantara will also be built as a smart city. By 2028, at least 25% of public services must run through online service centers and also integrated data systems. Experts say that these targets are ambitious because they would need a large amount of construction needed in the span of 3 years. The complexity of also moving thousands of workers, because not every worker is simply from Nusantara. Some workers might be in Jakarta and they would need a place to stay and also to fulfill their needs. They also need to build a smart city technology from scratch. It doesn't just appear from thin air. But if these targets are actually reached, Nusantara might become a modern, sustainable, and also a technology-driven political capital, marking a new chapter in Indonesia's development. Now, let us move on to our international news brought to you by Alicia.
Good morning again, viewers. I'm Alicia. Watching P5 News.
Disinilah perjalanan dimulai. Perjalanan untuk mengokohkan fondasi utama kehidupan, yaitu iman kepada Kristus. Perjalanan untuk menguasai ilmu pengetahuan yang unggul, demi memberikan pelayanan yang adil dan benar, agar berdampak nyata bagi sesama. Bandung, 19 Juli 1950 menjadi tonggak bersejarah berdirinya Badan Pendidikan Kristen Penabur. Diawali dengan semangat Gereja Kristen Indonesia Sinode wilayah Jawa Barat untuk mengisi kemerdekaan dan memberikan pendidikan Kristen berkualitas bagi anak bangsa. Kini BPK Penabur melesat menjadi lembaga pendidikan Kristen unggul di Indonesia yang tersebar di 15 kota, memiliki 164 sekolah dengan 5.000 tenaga pendidik yang melayani lebih dari 46.000 peserta didik. Dengan pengalaman lebih dari 7 dasawarsa, BPK Penabur terus melangkah, turut berkontribusi memajukan pendidikan Indonesia. BPK Penabur Jakarta membentuk pribadi berkarakter Kristiani yang mengandalkan Tuhan di dalam setiap langkah kehidupan, dan menghadirkan komunitas yang saling membangun, sehingga setiap pribadi tumbuh menjadi berkat untuk sesama, melalui penguatan kompetensi tenaga pendidik dan kependidikan secara berkelanjutan.
Di BPK Penabur, kami menggunakan metode pembelajaran terkini yang memberikan ruang kepada setiap peserta didik menikmati proses merdeka bermain dan merdeka belajar, sehingga mereka bisa mengembangkan potensinya secara optimal.
I love that we have a project-based learning that involves creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. It really enriches us to flourish in a society.
Aku senang belajar di sini. Kita bermain.
Good morning, P6 News! My name is Ashley.
I'm Evelyn.
And we're your news anchor for today. We begin today's news with a story that has stirred strong reactions across Indonesia. The government's decision to name President Suharto as a Pahlawan Nasional or National Hero. This announcement was made on Heroes Day, with President Prabowo Subianto signing the decree at the State Palace. He called Suharto a stabilizer who brought growth and order to this country, and supporters believe this recognition is long overdue. They point to his early successes in agriculture, infrastructure, and national development.
But the reaction hasn't been simple. Many Indonesians are still struggling with the memory of Suharto's 32-year rule, which they associate with censorship, limited freedom, and various human rights issues. In Yogyakarta, students held a candlelight vigil to express their disagreement, while human rights groups in Jakarta protested in front of the National Heroes Cemetery. Meanwhile, over in Surakarta, Suharto's hometown, locals celebrated with prayer gatherings and community events.
This debate has become even louder on social media. Hashtags like hashtag Suharto bukan pahlawan, which means Suharto isn't a hero, and hashtag Lawan Lupa, which means don't forget the past, have been trending for a couple of days. People from different generations are sharing their own personal experiences. Older Indonesians often recall stability and economic growth, while younger people who grew up after Reformasi see Suharto as an authoritarian rule. The differences in experiences really shows how one figure can be remembered in completely opposite ways.
Politicians are also divided. Some leaders praise Suharto's role in shaping Indonesia's economy, while others, especially from parties like the PDIP, argue that honoring him doesn't match the spirit of reform and democracy. Some leaders praise Suharto's role in shaping Indonesia's economy. Analysts note that President Prabowo's own history with Suharto adds a political layer to the decision. Some say it strengthens his image, while critics warn it might distance younger voters.
At the end of the day, the question remains, should a controversial leader be given one of the highest honors in the nation? Whether people see him as a dictator or a hero, Suharto's legacy still sparks intense discussion even decades after his rule. And that proves how powerful history can be in shaping the present. Now, what do you say we move on to something a little more interesting and fun, Evelyn?
Yes, I totally agree with you, Ashley. That was some intense news. But switching gears to a lighter story, it's incredible to see how global talent can inspire and excite fans in completely different ways.
Absolutely. Take, for instance, Cat's Eye, the global girl group that has been making waves across the world, from viral hits to historic Grammy nominations. They've secured 2 nominations for the 2026 Grammy Awards, Best New Artist and Best Pop Duo or Group Performance for their hit track, Gabriella.
Their discography has grown fast. From their debut EP, Soft is Strong in 2024 to their 2025 EP, Beautiful Chaos, they've shown a mix of styles. Songs like Gnarly, Game Boy, Mean Girls, MIA, and of course, Gabriella have all become fan favorites. Their song Gabriella even entered the Billboard Hot 100 and sparked a dance challenge that went viral across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Their sound is very diverse too. Gnarly brings hyperpop energy, Game Boy has fun retro vibes, and Mean Girls delivers a strong message about confidence and self-worth. Their latest EP, Beautiful Chaos, also charted on the Billboard 200, proving they're more than just a social media sensation.
Part of their appeal is their multinational lineup. Their group consists of Sophia from the Philippines, Daniela from the US, Yunche from Korea, Manon from Switzerland Argana, Megan, who is a mix of Chinese, Singaporean, and Swedish, and finally, Lara, who has an Indian-American background. Trained under Hype and Geffen Records, they represent a new era of global pop where artists come from everywhere and fans connect instantly online.
For Indonesian fans, their success feels especially exciting. For Indonesian fans, their success feels especially exciting.
And with the Grammy Awards coming up on the 1st of February in 2026, many are expecting their moments on stage to be one of the highlights of the night. Even if they don't win, being nominated alone marks a huge milestone in their career.
One thing is already very clear. Cat's Eye represents the future of international pop music. Diverse, global, and built for the digital age.
And that wraps up our international segment for today.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Evelyn.
And we'll see you guys next time!
Welcome back to Global Insight News, your source for reliable updates from around the world. With me, Delise.
And Caitlin.
Today's headlines are awarding awards to 3 national figures and Cynthia Erivo protecting Ariana Grande after being attacked by a fan.
Jakarta, 10 November 2025. The President of Indonesia held a ceremony to honor 3 national figures, Kiai Haji Abdurrahman Wahid, or as we know, Gus Dur, Haji Muhammad Soeharto, and Marsina. He stated that the awards recognize their dedication in different fields, all aimed at contributing to Indonesia's progress.
The award was presented to the heirs of the late Kiai Haji Abdurrahman Wahid from East Java. Known as a hero in political struggle and Islamic education, Gus Dur devoted his life to promoting humanity, democracy, and pluralism. He received this honor for his legacy as a champion of democracy that began long before his presidency.
The award was also given to the heirs of the late General Haji Muhammad Soeharto from Central Java. He distinguished himself during the independence era, including leading the disarmament of Japanese forces in Yogyakarta. Although his contributions were considered extraordinary, some historians argue that the title is still controversial due to human rights violation during his leadership.
The heirs of the late Marsina also received the award. A symbol of courage and human rights, Marsina fought for workers' rights and social justice. Growing up in a poor farming family strengthened her commitment to fairness and equality. She was honored for her efforts as a member of the All Indonesia Workers' Union, or SPSI.
You know, Delise, these 3 figures are like Indonesia's version of the Avengers, is that right?
You think? So, Gus Dur with the peace and democracy superpower, Marsina with the justice and courage, and Soeharto, well, he's controversial on Reddit.
Exactly. 80% inspiring and 20% comment section drama.
But seriously, each one shaped Indonesia in a huge way. Awards or not, their stories teach us a lot.
Totally. And luckily, no superheroes were harmed during the ceremony.
Now to entertainment. At the Wicked for Good premiere in Singapore, Ariana Grande was suddenly grabbed by a man who jumped over a barrier.
Cynthia Erivo has been praised for protecting her Wicked co-star Ariana Grande after a spectator suddenly ran toward her at the Wicked for Good premiere in Singapore. Cynthia and Ariana were walking with their fellow cast members at Universal Studios Singapore, surrounded by cheering fans behind barricades.
Security stayed behind to allow photographers a clear view of the cast. A man jumped over the barrier, ran toward Ariana, and wrapped his arms around her while jumping up and down. Cynthia quickly rushed in, separated Ariana from the intruder, and pushed him away, with Michelle Yeoh helping to pull Ariana to safety.
Fans identified the intruder as a man using the name Pajama Man on Instagram. His profile also lists what appears to be his real name, Johnson Wen, along with labels such as 2023 World Cup Final Pitch Invader.
His account includes videos of him invading other events, such as getting on stage at a concert by Katy Perry in June 2025 and the Weeknd concert in October 2024.
Many users demanded action against him, calling the incident a criminal offense and expressing anger over the disrespect shown to Ariana and the rest of the cast.
Fans also noted Ariana's past trauma, referencing the 2017 Manchester concert bombing that killed 22 people. Ariana later shared that she experienced anxiety and symptoms of PTSD after the attack.
This incident also highlighted the strong bond between Cynthia and Ariana. Before filming began, they promised to take care of each other, and that forms the foundation of their friendship.
They practiced scenes, rehearsed music, and supported one another through emotional moments on set. Their close relationship, which they describe as a sisterhood, even includes matching tattoos inspired by the musical.
Both actresses say their bond will continue long after Wicked is completed. Their partnership has become a standout example of support in Hollywood, showing how strong friendships can elevate great performances.
Okay, Delise. Cynthia didn't just act like a hero, she was one. That reaction time, Olympic level.
Seriously, if there was a gold medal for protecting your bestie, Cynthia would win it.
And Pajama Man, if your hobby is jumping fences at global events, you should find a new one.
Like singing, much safer for everyone.
It's wonderful to see how the cast supported and protected one another. It shows responsibility and professionalism. And that's the end of today's news.
Thank you for joining us on Global Insight News.
Stay informed, stay aware, and see you in the next broadcast. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to today's news. I'm Kathleen, and she's Irene. From the international news, specifically Los Angeles, we have a report about a body that was found in a famous singer's trunk.
8th September 2025, in Los Angeles, specifically in Hollywood Hills, police have found a body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas inside of a black bag in the front trunk of a Tesla. Police was alerted to this scene by someone reporting a foul odor in the Hollywood tow yard. The vehicle was at the impound lot for 2 days after being found abandoned in the Hollywood street. The vehicle, the Tesla, is registered to a 20-year-old David Anthony Berkey, well known as the singer D4VD.
LAPD Captain Scott Williams said the girl had been dead for several weeks before the discovery. Then LAPD then determined that the Tessa was seen parked at Bluebird Avenue since last July, around the time David started a national tour. David had been on his Withered World Tour when Celeste's body was discovered in his vehicle. The last few shows of the tour were soon forced to be cancelled. Then, David has appeared in a music video filled with murderous themes. In the music video One More Dance, David is seen wearing a white shirt splattered with blood while dragging a person to a car, while singing the lyric, "Oh Celeste."
Long before the discovery of her body, Celeste had run away from her Lake Elsinore home. She was in the 7th grade, and her parents or her family reported her missing at least 3 times in 2024, according to Riverside County Sheriff's Office. During that time, Celeste stayed alongside David online, and law enforcement sources say that she resided at her rental home with the singer.
As for today, the investigation is still ongoing. We hope for the best. Moving on to the local news, focusing on Raja Ampat, a region known for being one of the world's last natural paradise. It is now at the center of a serious environmental dispute involving proposed nickel mining activities.
Concerns surfaced publicly after the protest on 3rd June 2025 and by Greenpeace Indonesia and local activists. During the Indonesia Critical Mineral Conference and Expo.
On 6 June 2025, the government inspecting the mines reported a serious violation in environmental regulation and small island governance at several mining sites. By 8 June 2025, the government revoked 4 mining permits.
The risks raised by experts include deforestation, heavy sedimentation, and toxic runoff. These pollutants threatens the water by surrounding its surrounding waters and suffocating the coral reefs that supports one of the richest marine biodiversities on Earth.
Many local group and conservation groups have strongly object with this activity. They argue that mining in Raja Ampat could cause permanent damage and that no economic benefit can compensate for the destruction of its unique environment.
Though the government has revoked most permits by 8th June 2025, speculation continues over the future of the mining in Raja Ampat, the archipelago, and the long-hailed natural treasure remains uncertain as natural interest in nickel climbs.
Wow, Irene, that is such an interesting news. I really hope Raja Ampat will get better.
Yeah, I really hope so. Raja Ampat is my bucket list.
It's mine too. Well, that concludes today's news.
She's Kathleen.
And she's Irene.
Stay
informed and take care.
Good morning. I'm Chloe Joanna.
And I'm Valerie Jaconia.
Reporting for Channel CV News this Monday, December 1st, 2025. 11 a.m. Western Indonesian time with today's top stories.
To start, we turn to politics, where Indonesia's political climate is undergoing significant changes.
Within the country, a notable debate emerges.
Can you tell us the reason, Chloe?
The passing of a controversial law in early 2025 by the Indonesian House of Representatives that expands on the involvement of active military personnel in civilian government roles.
The bill, first proposed by the Defense Ministry, was debated in Parliament and passed through a landslide vote. Under these new regulations, active members of the Indonesian Armed Forces can now occupy ministries and government bodies without retiring from military service.
Following this action, many civil rights groups, activists, and several scholars have raised concerns that it may risk blurring the line, separating military and civilian authority, and reduce civilian autonomy. Meanwhile, supporters argue that this decision could enhance discipline, coordination, and military stability in Indonesia.
Implementation has begun in mid-2025, and observers have been closely monitoring its impact on governance.
From discussions in Parliament, we shift to the streets, where a different political issue is fueling student unrest.
Across several major cities, student bodies from various universities have been organizing demonstrations both on campuses and in front of government offices. These protests came in response to recent increases made to the allowances and given to government officials. The demonstrations were coordinated through social media and students' organizations, with police deployed to maintain security during these events.
Protesters argue that raising officials' allowances at this time sends the wrong message when many Indonesians are still facing economic pressures. The students claim the increase is unfair amid rising living costs and view this as a symbol of government insensitivity towards public hardship.
Student groups stress that public funds should go towards vital sectors such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure.
They are calling for transparency and accountability on the allocation of government funds and are urging lawmakers to reconsider actions that do not align with current national priorities. As talks continue, the students say they will maintain peaceful demonstrations whilst pushing for what they call responsible financial policies and policy making. Valerie, what was this for again?
I think this has something to do with our next topic, Chloe.
Well, then the audience has to stay tuned to see what this is about.
Beyond the realm of politics, the entertainment industry is also experiencing notable developments that are drawing public interest.
From the discussion shaping policies nationally, we now turn to international entertainment, where major updates from one of the world's biggest film franchises is capturing global attention.
Recently, the entertainment industry has been buzzing up with excitement for the upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie.
That's right. Marvel has officially confirmed new details about its upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie, which is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated releases of 2026.
The film is bringing back a packed lineup of familiar, returning cast members, which includes names such as Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen, while also introducing a variety of new heroes entering the franchise.
For the people who are unfamiliar with Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is an interconnected film and television franchise in which characters, storylines, and events exist within a shared continuity.
It spans multiple phases of storytelling and has become one of the world's most influential entertainment universes, bringing back together heroes, villains, and cosmic narratives across dozens of titles. Currently, the movie is being filmed across many major cities and locations, mostly in Los Angeles and London, with these cities hosting large-scale sets to support the film scenes.
Reports show that the film uses a combination of practical stunt work and advanced CGI, with insiders saying that Doomsday's large-scale destruction scenes are amongst Marvel's biggest visual wonders yet. Meanwhile, social media engagement continues to climb as more cast confirmations and behind-the-scenes updates are released. Avengers Doomsday has been scheduled to be released in May of 2026. With the date in mind, both industry analysts and fans alike believe that this installment in the franchise will introduce one of the most powerful villains the Avengers have ever faced, raising expectations for a darker storyline and potentially major character consequences.
From major decisions in Parliament to the voices of students calling for accountability, and finally to the excitement sweeping global entertainment, today's stories show the full spectrum of what's shaping our world. And with that, we bring this edition of Channel CV News to a close.
I'm Chloe Joanna.
And I'm Valerie Jaconia. This has been Channel CV News. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to another edition of
Enjoy News,
where we bring clarity, depth, and accuracy to stories from across Indonesia and around the world. I'm Joyce, and we're glad to have you with us.
And I'm Angel. For today's lineup covers both serious development at home and a historic day on a global sports stage. From a major canal collapse affecting thousands of farmers to a dramatic night in the world of football, we have a lot to cover.
And we bring today's broadcast here at home, where severe weather has once again caused disruption and raised concerns for thousands of residents.
And for our top national news today has come from Central Java, where a heavy rainfall has caused a critical infrastructure failure with widespread consequences. This incident happened in Banjarnegara on its Thursday morning, 23rd of October 2025, whereas the Siwiluh irrigation canal embankment in Ampelsari village has collapsed due to being drenched for 3 consecutive days of heavy rain.
The collapsed portion measured approximately 17 meters long and 7 meters wide. According to early assessment, the prolonged and intense rainfall made the structural integrity of the embankment weak. When the wall gave way, water surged rapidly into the Blimbing River valley below.
And this incident has become a risk to 1,500 hectares of farmlands spreading across Banjarnegara, Purwanegara, and Bawang, especially in Parakan village being the most vulnerable area due to the irrigation to the main canal being halted.
But the damage didn't stop there. The northern access road alongside the canal was collapsed, blocking the route to the Pesona Harmony housing Ampelsari complex. Rising water levels also threatened 6 homes in Samarang village, R33, Ewet 2 in danger, but fortunately and thankfully no injuries were reported.
And as a response, the Banjarnegara Disaster Management Agency, together with the local police, Kodim 0704, DPUPR, and also the Transportation Agency, together with the local government, has sealed the area to prevent further danger.
The disaster agency also coordinated with Yogyakarta Serayu Opak River Agency, which dispatched a rapid response team to inspect damage and determine emergency repair measures.
Joyce, let's look at this collapse for a bit. We can see how this incident has really been depending on the community, and this had made the community very, very depressing.
I'm totally agree with you, Angel. And with over 1,500 hectares relying on a consistent water flow, even with a short disruption can affect entire harvest cycles.
Exactly, especially at this time, where a stable irrigation structure is even more important.
Hopefully, the coordinated response will help restore the canal soon. And now, before we jump in,
you might be wondering why we're bringing this ball into our studio. And no, we are not turning the studio into a stadium.
But we are kicking off our next story with something that has the entire football world buzzing.
And this ball will play a small symbolic role on what's happening up next.
Our international report takes us to Lisbon, where football history unfolded during the 2026 World Cup qualifying match between Portugal and Hungary on Tuesday night, October 14, 2025.
And Cristiano Ronaldo has shined once again, whereas he had made 2 goals that night, his 40th and 41st goal in the World Cup qualifying, surpassing the Guatemala's former striker Carlos Ruiz with only 39 goals in the World Cup qualifying.
His first goal was a powerful strike into the top corner, while his second goal came as a precise. With Portugal leading 2-1, fans believed that qualification was within reach.
But Hungary's Dominik Szoboszlai had other plans, whereas he got a free kick and kicked the ball straight into the net and ended the match with a 2-2 score and silencing the entire celebrations at Lisbon.
He was so cool, right? Meanwhile, England punched their ticket to the 2026 World Cup with a dominant 5-0 point over Latvia. Spain continued to impress us with their perfect record. This was 4-0 over Bulgaria. And Italy's 3 2-0 win over Israel was overshadowed by significant protests outside the stadium in Udine.
That is really expected from the wars happening between Palestine and Israel for these past few years. But Joyce, imagine if you had broken a world record but having it overshadowed by a last-minute equalizer.
It must have been an emotional whirlwind, Angel. But even with the draw, Ronaldo's achievement remains historic.
That's right. And Sosbo's live free kick has got to be appreciated too, because it was a world-class skill under the immense pressure.
Absolutely. And all of this sets the stage for an exciting road to the 2026 World Cup. Yes, and that wraps up for today's broadcast. From challenges affecting our communities to global moments that unite fans worldwide. We hope today's stories have brought insight and perspective.
That's all from us today. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay hoping for the brighter days ahead. We are going to keep on committing to give you the news that you enjoy.
I'm Joyce.
And I'm Angel, and we'll see you on the next broadcast of
Enjoy News.